Hello, all you guys out there, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and non-ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. How y'all doing? I'm actually melting up here, here in the Netherlands. It's so hot these days. It's very humid as well. I'm recording now in my bedroom. Although I haven't slept here last night, I just slept downstairs in the living room, because there it was, well, not really bearable, but at least better than here. Although I just saw on the thermometer in the living room that it was 31 degrees Celsius. So yeah, that's how things are at the moment. But I thought I wouldn't let this tropical weather get in the way of my 2 cents of activism in the XJW community. Today I want to talk about things I liked being a Jehovah's Witness. So let's start on a positive note. I have been watching the John Cedars rebuttal for the convention, the annual convention. I've seen part 4 of 6 and so cringeworthy, and I just cannot imagine how people really believe this stuff, right? It's easy to be negative all the time, but it's good to be looking back with not too much rage and hate and yeah. So some people get really bitter after they leave the cult. Yeah, to be fair, I'm still a little bit bitter myself, although I didn't went through a lot of intense stuff that a lot of ex-JWs went through. I wasn't excommunicated, disfellowshipped. I wasn't shunned by my family or friends. I still see the people I knew from back then. Sometimes I visit them. When I visit my mom, like externally, this religion didn't have any negative consequences for me. Yeah, but internally, that's a whole other chapter. So let's talk about the stuff I found positive in being a Jehovah's Witness. Because as I've mentioned earlier on in other videos, I was never baptized, so officially I was never a Jehovah's Witness, but I went to the Kingdom Hall and from door to door in the ministry from the age of 11 till the age of 18, somewhere around that period of time. And well, maybe I went into field service when I was a little bit older, maybe 13, 14. But I went to the book study and meetings earlier, I guess when I was 11. Probably 11. Maybe 10. So the things I found positive about being a Jehovah's Witness. They promote themselves as a worldwide brotherhood. And that is basically what they are. But there's always a but. Because when you leave the Jehovah's Witnesses, there is no brotherhood for you left. No one will ever care about you, take care of you, ask you how you're doing. They basically act as if you're dead when you leave the organization or get disfellowshipped for one sin or the other. But wherever you go, all around the world, you can just visit a Kingdom Hall and people will greet you. They will welcome you with open arms, also known as love bombing. So it's not really real love. Because as we know, the love of Jehovah's Witnesses for people is conditional. That's how they're brainwashed to behave, actually. So they will only love you as long as you do everything 8 gross old men in New York tell you to do. So if you are on holiday, it's always encouraged to visit Kingdom Halls, and that's kind of strange because when you're on holiday, you just have time off from everything, from your work, from school, from daily stuff that has to be done, from cleaning the house, but also, in my opinion, from being in a religious organization. Because if a Catholic goes on holiday, probably this person will visit churches, but it's more like as a tourist and to check out the nice architecture from years and years ago. And maybe it's a bad example because as far as I know, Catholics in the Netherlands, they're not really fanatics, so they really don't go to church. Not every Sunday, I guess, only with the special days like Easter and Christmas. So if you're an evangelical Christian or something like that, I don't think that you would visit a specific evangelical church service or sermon in this place where you're staying when you're on holiday. But Jehovah's Witnesses, no, you cannot just have some time off. You are a Jehovah's Witness 24/7, all year long, no matter what. And it doesn't even matter if you speak the language or not. You're actually supposed to visit nearest Kingdom Hall at your destination and go there. When I was I visited the conventions during the summer holiday in Poland. I also went to the meetings there. But actually I was like, yeah, why am I doing this? I mean, it's boring as hell. I'm on holiday here, so I actually don't need to do anything. But it was kind of expected of me, maybe. I don't know, I guess I love the brotherhood, and it's not really like that I love the people necessarily, but I guess the uniformity, that it's everywhere it's the same. Like the book study is everywhere the same, watchtower study, like the prayers, the songs are the same all around the world. You study the same articles, the same books, you have the same Bible, the conventions are the same everywhere. Well, maybe location looks different, but in essence it's actually the same overall. The way people dress is the same, which is actually very sad. Well, maybe in some African countries, maybe the brothers do dress that are very colorful, but overall, like people, especially men, they dress very bland, not in tight pants, too bad. So I guess it was more because it was very recognizable, that it was comforting. So it wasn't really way out of the comfort zone for me to be in another congregation. But what I really liked in Poland, for example, I remember this time the book study was at my grandma's place, and the brother, the elder who led the Bible study, he was this fun guy with this mustache. He had always these happy eyes. He was always kind of, I don't know, kind of smiling and joking around with people. And his wife was also kind of funny, but their daughter, she was very, I don't know, very stoic maybe. She never really laughed, or she was very introverted, and both her parents were kind of outgoing. And he almost didn't finish, so he didn't say amen, or someone just put a bottle of vodka on the table and we just started having a drink, and it was great. And I don't know how that will be appreciated here in the Netherlands. Maybe in the USA it will be different as well, but I mean, it's kind of Polish or overall Eastern European culture to have a drink with friends, with family, so that was kind of cool. I liked the way that people were kind of mellow and easygoing there. That was not my, my experience at all here in the Netherlands. Yeah, so what I liked about being a Jehovah's Witness is you already have these rules made up for you. and that you only need to apply to your own life. So although it's a very negative thing, it's also very, how you call it? It's a very safe thing that someone already made these rules, things you can do, cannot do, and so you don't have to think for yourself. And it sounds really culty and creepy, which it is. But you don't need to use your critical thinking skills. And as a teenager, you already are very confused, maybe going through puberty, all those changes taking place. Maybe, I don't know, those hormones start working, you know. And stuff like smoking is bad, don't do that. Sex is bad, don't do that. Doing drugs is bad, don't do that. It's kind of easy to act as if those rules are your own, because I've actually always, and maybe it's very recognizable, I've always tried to justify the way these rules were made. Like, for example, I mean, for smoking, right? It's like, oh, in the Bible, you shouldn't have these unclean habits. You shouldn't, I call it, mess up your body. Somewhere in Hebrews, I guess. It's an unclean habit to be smoking, if either cigarettes or weed or whatever. And I found that a very good argument. So I have a lot of the same, how you call it, rules that I live by as then, but now I have logical or more logical and legit reasons for it to live by those rules. But going back to where this video is about, that was kind of easy to live by those rules that other people made up for you, so you didn't have to think by yourself. So it gave you some kind of comfort and the feeling that, well, if everyone's going to follow these rules, I'm not alone, so it's not weird. So that's actually a thing I found positive about Jehovah's Witnesses. And also they, obviously, for some people, puberty is a very hard time to get through. There's a lot of peer pressure. If you're a Jehovah's Witness and you're a youth, then these rules may help you to, how you call it, withstand, is that a word? Peer pressure. So if you're not opposed to smoking, it's good that you just keep in mind, like, yeah, this is not the way to go. My religion tells me to not smoke, so I shouldn't. So just not smoking is not a bad thing, you know, because it's a bad habit and it's hard to kick. So other stuff when thinking about positive Jehovah's Witness stuff. Yeah, it's very hard actually to think of a lot of positive things, because the way people work is you remember the bad stuff way better than you remember the good stuff. I would say that having a large social network was a positive thing, because I didn't really have a lot of friends in other different congregations. But in our Kingdom Hall we had only 2, and occasionally one Indonesian, I guess, but only two congregations really. And I guess I had friends in both, and they were also a lot of people living in our neighborhood who were witnesses, also people without kids, and I stayed with them really often, and I actually became, I don't know, very familiar with people. People became my friends. I had friends of all ages, really. I had these people that became my second parents, like aunties, uncles, and it was great fun to do stuff at their place. So, but there was a very thin line, and when you crossed that thin line, it wasn't really okay to be friends with them anymore. For example, we had these people that were living in the same street as we were. They were married couple who didn't have kids, and I stayed at their place very often because they're really cool. And when I went there, we listened to rock music, very loud rock music. We went to festivals. I went with them to see Kiss in concert, and Whitesnake, Def Leppard, all the good stuff, you know. And maybe other people would say, yeah, that's demonic and horrible music, but they really didn't care. They enjoyed the music of their youth. And yeah, so that was really cool. We had a really cool time. But when it came to hanging out with worldly boys, yeah, they didn't like that, and they really gave me a big lecture when I stayed the night over at this guy I liked. And I didn't stay the night over, but we were just hanging out, and I came home very, very late. Actually, 5 o'clock in the morning. It was light already, so it wasn't dark when I came home. And he brought me home. He drove his bike home with me. He brought me home, so there wasn't a problem. But they were so angry, and they were just like having the Bible in their hand and just showing me all scriptures about how bad that was, and I should break off all contact with him. And that was just so crazy. And I'm like, what's the problem here? We can listen to worldly music, but not like have worldly friends or relationships. Needless to say, I didn't listen to them, and the relationship was really, yeah, it didn't really went well then, as in the relationship with them got a little bit sour, and the relationship with the guy went well for the next 2 years, and then I had a horrible breakup, so that was too bad. But it's kind of strange that some people find this okay and that not okay, so. But I had a really big social network, and so that's a good thing. You know a lot of people. There are a lot of people from different ages you can befriend, and not every congregation is that how you call it, mixed, because some people go to a congregation where only old people go. For example, my grandma's congregation, they're practically only old people. Some younger couples who have already kids, but it's not really a place where you can find your soulmate, if you know what I mean, if you're a youngster. So that was a positive thing. Yeah, I cannot actually think of more stuff that was positive, because I will make a video about stuff I found negative, and stuff I didn't like. Although I maybe already made a video like that. I really don't know. My brain is just frying in my head. It's so hot in here. So this will be the video for now. I'm just dying in here. I don't know how you guys manage it. Wherever you are, just keep hydrated, keep safe because of the coronavirus, you know, it's still going on. Hope you're having a nice, cool day, and you'll see me in the next video. Bye bye!